Alright. Let's get this done before we lose power again. Here we go. And of course that camera stopped working. There we go. Oh, stupid piece of crap. Alright, so we've got no signs of life up there. We've got 6 watts of power draw. Let's dig in. Got a little bit of protection over here in case Tim Cook tries to take a slice out of me. Not messing around anymore. Alright, sorry about that. Trying to help a coworker out. Excellent. Perfect. Nice clean entry. Yeah, I don't know what happened a few minutes ago. I started streaming and like 2 minutes into it, my power went out and came back within a few seconds. And well, if I got my PC started up quick enough, it could have just resumed the stream, but of course it decided to do updates, so I had to wait for that to finish before we tried another stream here. I was about 2 seconds away from saying screw it, we're not streaming today, but it's been a few days and we've got a few HomePods here waiting to get fixed up, so. Got a good subwoofer in there. In we go. There we go. Did not want to deal with extracting a broken screw today. Especially on the first pot end, man. And here we go. So, let's see. 48K dated diode there, so that's definitely gonna get replaced. First up though, we're gonna do a little bit of maintenance here. It has its original filters still, which are starting to fail more often than not now, so we're going to get those replaced first so they don't have to deal with any death farts or bass issues anytime soon due to these naturally decaying. And then we'll knock out that dead diode that's actually causing their power issue. I have to tweak my website now because up until this point we've only been replacing these filters on an absolute needed basis. You know, it's not worth the risk, possibly damaging the amplifier and or creating more work for ourselves than it's worth, especially if the filters are still good, and who knows how much longer they could be good for. But I was wondering why this wasn't getting very hot. Let's turn that up. But these original capacitors are starting to hit, you know, 3, 4, maybe 5 to 7 years old now, and that is on the lower end of what we would expect to see these, how long we would expect to see these lasting. Good or bad quality capacitors, doesn't really matter. So we're gonna, every single HomePod that comes through here, if it still has its original filters, they're gonna get replaced while we're inside. Because I've had a handful, not a whole bunch, but you know, about 5 to 7 of my HomePod repairs for just no power come back to me now within the past 8 to 12 months. And because, well, we fixed their power issue, but their filters tested perfectly fine at the time. But, you know, it only took 6 to 8 months for the filters that tested just fine to start to go downhill real quick and start causing them base issues. So I honor my warranty. I tell them, you know what, I'll cover shipping and get it back, and I'll take care of it. But if I had replaced the filters the first time, sure, it might take a few more minutes of our time and a few extra dollars in parts, but in the long run, it's gonna save everyone, and everyone will be happier. So, moving forward, we're gonna be replacing these filters on every HomePod if they're still original. Good stuff. You guys, if you've watched enough of my live stream appears, you know how much I love doing these filters. And you can guess how thrilled I am to be making this decision. But someone's got to do it. And someone's got to do it good. Beautiful. We got our maintenance done. Let's jump to the star of the show here, our shorted shot key. My bin of dead diodes is overflowing at this point. We're gonna need to have a quick live stream where we just count how many we've got in there and have a talk. Just have a little chat. A little Apple, please. Do something. I mean, I feel like I'm obligated to. No one else is going to do it. No one else has seen. No one else has worked on as many of these things as we have at this point. I think it's safe to say that. I don't think there's anyone else that's as familiar with the issues and failures with these as I am, so I guess I'm the rightest person to call them out on it. I just don't have much of a platform for it. I've got some... Seems like I've got some very dedicated followers that'll get the attention of people that need to see it. But the goal here is some sort of recall and or compensation. A recall for people that have HomePods that are broken still. A solution to fix the bricked ones, third party, and a check for everybody that's already had to pay to get theirs fixed. It's so disappointing to continue to hear people telling me that Apple's customer service is telling them about all these hardware failures that we are fixing over and over live on stream here thousands of times, and Apple's customer service still tells their customers that it's a software issue that's out of warranty and not you know, they're not covered or they're not going to support them, go buy a new one. Or better yet, pay more for a refurbished one that literally came from the exact same production run, that's going to have the same problem parts inside and going to have the same failures. I guarantee you. I can promise you that because we've been inside all of them. We've been inside pre-production HomePods. We've been inside the earliest HomePods and the latest HomePods, and pretty much every single one in between. They all have the same chance of having the same crappy diode inside. And if they don't have that diode, they certainly have that just fundamental design flaw in the amplifier where they use those 4 ceramic DC filtering capacitors to remove unwanted DC offset from the amplifier circuit as the audio passes through. But any engineer with 2 beans for a brain or more will know ceramic capacitors naturally decay over time. They become less effective. And how and why they decided to do only 4 tiny little ceramic capacitors and do 2 of them in series. So you've got 2 sets of 2 capacitors in series and in parallel. Basically, if one of the 4 starts going bad, it drags all the rest of them down with it, and the whole shebang starts shitting. And like, on one hand, this is, you gotta remember, you gotta keep in mind, this is a fairly high power amplifier that they've got going on here. Especially for the subwoofer. I mean, each speaker in the HomePod gets a dedicated amplifier. And they're pumping some serious power through them. So, any imperfections, any flaws, they're going to be exacerbated. You know, an amplifier that's amplifying a signal with 50 watts of power is going to make problems much more noticeable than an amplifier that's only amplifying the problem with 5 to 15 watts. So that's why you typically don't hear the same popping sound as these all naturally do as they turn on and off. Going in and out of standby mode, they turn the amplifier inside off to preserve power when they're not in use. It's about after 10 minutes. So you'll hear the amplifier turn on and off by a little click or a pop coming from the subwoofer. And that's mostly because the amplifier is just, it's got so much juice in it compared to a lot of the other products out there on the market. And then they don't filter it very well. It seems like they kind of got a little lazy with that. It works, but it's not very great. That all said, I still think these are the best speakers for the price and the size. You just simply cannot find anything better than the first gen HomePod. Unless you want to spend a lot more money and it's going to take up more space to do it. And you're going to typically sacrifice something doing it too. My key features for my opinion here are the 360-degree omnidirectional sound. That's an absolute requirement there. And that automatically knocks out so many other options that people suggest to me, or ask me if I've tried, and if you think they're better than the HomePod, and it's people aren't asking for the right comparison. You need a 360-degree speaker, roughly this size. You can go a little bigger, or a little smaller if you want, but what they did for this size is just, it is very impressive, even considering its flaws. Unfortunately, I can't really say the same about the second gen, but everybody's got their opinions about those ones. Some say they sound better, some say they sound worse. I personally think the second gen just sounds like a little less powerful. A little more controlled and detailed, but less powerful. That kid's going crazy. Some crazy weather to be doing yard work in right now. It was windy enough to cut my power out earlier. They pick the strangest days and times to be doing yard work. And I mean, right now is not the strangest time, but it's definitely the strangest weather to be. Well, I guess if you want to stay cool, it's not a bad idea. Knock it out while it's windy out. All right. Here we go.
I'm having trouble.
Beautiful.
I'm having trouble.
Perfect. All right. Let's move on to Carlos here. All right. Let us observe. Nothing there. 6 to 5 watts at the wall. Looks like another dead diode, so it'll be pretty much an exact repeat of what we just did with Jeff's HomePod there. We'll gut this and give it new filters, prevent those death farts and bass issues, and then we will replace that Schottky diode to restore its power. Alright. Filters first. Here we go. Okay. No. There we go. That is why I hate doing those. But we gotta do them. Alright, now for the fun part. And back together we go. have it, folks. That's all that I've got the time and energy for here and now. Hope you all enjoyed this live stream appearing, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.